Hi, my name is Wojtek and I'm here to show you some interesting facts about my city, Łódź. Let's get to it. Łódź is the third biggest city in Poland after Warsaw and Krakow, and it's the capital of Voivodeship Łódzkie, as Poland is divided not into regions but into voivodeships. Łódź is also located straight in the middle of Poland. It's very close to the geographical center of Poland. It is divided into 5 quarters. The center quarter, Bałuty quarter in the north, which used to be a village annexed by Łódź in the period of its rapid growth, Widzew quarter on the east, and Polesie quarter on the west, with Górna quarter at the south of Łódź. Although the city is almost 600 years old, the vast majority of the growth in Łódź happened in the last 200 years. It has been called the Promised Land in the 19th century because it was the fastest growing city in the whole Europe. The huge textile factories, the huge textile industry made it also known as the Polish Manchester. And still to this day, the textile factories and the buildings from that era shape the scenery of the whole city. And many of them are being transformed into centers of a different function. Like for example here, Manufaktura has been transformed into a shopping and leisure center in 2006. Next to Manufaktura, we can see Poznański Palace. It's one of the most important buildings in Łódź. Because of its grandeur and all of the decorations, this neo-Baroque palace is called the Łódź Louvre. It was the home of Israel Poznański, who was one of the most important factory owners in Łódź. And because they had so much money, as the business was going very well in the 19th and early 20th century, they were building a lot of great palaces and great buildings, which are spread across the whole Śródmieście quarter in Łódź. For example, Juliusz Heinz Palace, he was one of the factory owners. It is now the city council palace, and it is located on the great Piotrkowska street. Right now we are in Księży Młyn, which is another wonderful factory complex here in Łódź. You can't run away from those, for real. It was created by Karol Scheibler, who was one of the main factory workers, factory owners here in our region in the 19th century. And right now the main building is being transformed into lofts, which are apartments, very tall apartments that businesses and people live there. And the rest of the area that I'm right now walking in is being transformed into a creative space that you can walk around, and whenever you feel like it, you can always sit down in a restaurant or a cafe that are located in workers' homes, just like this one. And finally we arrived to the most important part of the city, the Piotrkowska street. Created as a road from Piotrków Trybunalskich to Zgierz, it has become the most important part of Łódź. It's the longest walking street, only walking street in Poland, and it makes us feel like we're living in a small city. Really, because everyone in Łódź meets on this street, everyone parties on this street, everyone walks around on this street. Therefore, every time you meet someone you know, which is truly amazing in a city of almost 700,000 people. The beautiful, gorgeous, eclectic buildings all around the street make it seem magical, and you can find some amazing parts of it, such as the Roses Passage or off Piotrkowska around here. It truly is a gem in our Łódź culture and in our Łódź architecture as well. I once talked to a few friends from other Polish cities, from Wrocław, Lublin, Warsaw, and they all told me that the thing that strikes them when they come to Łódź is not the architecture, not the great parties we have, but the food. When you come to the city center of Łódź, you can taste so many different types of foods, all of the international cuisines. We have great ramen places, we have great Middle Eastern places, even some great Italian, Napolitan type of pizzas. You can find so much stuff. Of course, there's a lot of kebabs, which are quite popular in Poland. But you can also come every evening to Piotrkowska Street and see thousands of people drinking either beer or shots of vodka. Drinks are not that popular in our city, which is quite different, for example, from Warsaw, which is only an hour away. And in Warsaw, you drink a lot of drinks. But here it's always beer or vodka. It's very rarely we drink drinks. There's a lot of clubs around Piotrkowska Street, and overall Piotrkowska Street is great for partying. Based on what I said before, everyone meets everyone on this street. The only problem is wherever you go off Piotrkowska Street to the streets nearby, you need to be really careful for yourself. Unfortunately, it's not really a safe space, and you need to take care. Other than the great parties, you can find in Łódź a lot of festivals. So one of my favorites are Restaurant Week Festival, which a lot of restaurants take part in, and they prepare some foods for it, some menus that you can try out. Street Food Festival, organized in Piotrkowska 217 space, which is a bunch of street food trucks that sell some very weird types of food. For example, I still remember the chocolate kebab I ate there, which was pretty insane, not gonna lie. However, I'm pretty sure that most of my fellow Łódź people would agree with me. Light Move Festival is the best festival we have. It's truly amazing. It's about all those different lights, and basically movies are being projected on the facades of those buildings on Piotrkowska Street and on different parts of the city. They create those spectacles when the light goes on different parts of the building, which is obviously not plain, not even. And it creates truly magical feeling when you walk around Piotrkowska Street and other streets in the center during the night, and there's a lot of people, and you see all those fantastic lights glowing on different buildings. Truly, it's worth it. It's really worth coming, even just for this festival. Go and try it out, guys. But the citizens of Łódź are always very proud about how green the city is, except for the city center. 1,205 hectares. That's how much surface covers one of the biggest city forests in Europe, the Łagiewnicki forest. And as many as 11 city parks are being considered monuments of culture, including the Old City Park, which is called by the citizens the Herring Park because of the fish market that took place here before the Second World War. Right now I'm walking around the Piłsudski Park, which is known to the citizens as the Health Park. And I've been walking this park since I was a very little kid. It's also the biggest park in the city.
In the post-war era, when the textile industry was slowly wearing down, my city became known in Poland as Holy Łódź. This weird mixture of Hollywood and Łódź. Because of the prominent film school from which the biggest Polish movie stars came from, the Factory of Dreams, which was the biggest movie studio in the post-war era, and the only Polish cinematography museum in 2017, which was named by UNESCO a City of Film. Apart from the film industry, a lot of theaters, cinemas and concert halls. In Łódź there's also two world-known modern art museums, MS1 and MS2. They mostly have art from the periods of 20th and 21st century. And one of the leading leading artists in those museums is Władysław Strzemiński, one of the most well-known Polish artists, also a creator of Unism concept. If you're a fan of modern art, you should definitely visit those. Since few years ago, the city council and the president of Łódź are trying to create a new city center, which would be based around the new modern train station, Łódź Fabryczna. It's a very astonishingly good project, and when you enter it, you see also the influences of the Łódź history, which makes it all great. However, they made some mistakes in planning it. The most important one is that the train station can't be passed through the train. So the train can only arrive in, and it has to go out the same way it came. And unfortunately, Łódź is not the huge station, the destination in Poland. Therefore, not that many trains go there, and unfortunately, the train station is empty. Now, they are trying to fix it with building a road through it to the other stations. And it's gonna be done together with the subway system in Łódź in a few years' time. So we're all waiting to see the results, but for now, it's unfortunately very empty. Next to the train station, you can see the EC1, which was the power station of Łódź for almost 100 years, and now it has been transformed into a gorgeous city of culture. Inside you can find planetarium, the National Center of Film Culture, and a lot of conference halls. To sum it all up, Łódź is a very particular place on the map of Poland. With its heavy textile industry and short history, it quickly rose to be one of the most important cities in Eastern Europe. And now, even though the population is dropping and we are having many problems, mainly with traffic and with billboards that are practically everywhere, this city still has its special atmosphere that is incredibly hard to reproduce, and you really need to come here and feel it. Thank you all for watching my first ever YouTube video.
it's been real fun making it, and I can't wait to make more of them for you. So right now I would like to ask you to leave all the constructive criticism you have down in the comments, because I really need it. As you probably seen from the video, it's been my first time ever creating something of this manner, of this kind. And as much as I loved it, the same amount I got to realize that I know nothing about it. And it's been really hard and really long making this video, but it's been worth it, worth every single hour I spent creating it. But please help me make my next videos better. So I can promise you that all of the next videos are gonna be better and better. And consider subscribing, and thank you all a lot, deep down from my heart for watching it. And see you guys.